Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Got another video for y'all today. Today's video is going to be a showcase of a gaming PC I recently built. More specifically, this is a budget custom water-cooled gaming PC. So for starters, I went with an MSI motherboard. I went with this motherboard because MSI had it, or actually EK Waterblocks had it on sale from their website. It was about $250. It was normally about $500. Now there was two variants of this board, which I found kind of confusing because both of them look like they had the board. Both of them had the monoblock, which is kind of like a CPU water block but much bigger, and it covers the CPU, the VRM, and the other power management circuitry. One of them actually included the distro block, distribution block, which is kind of like a reservoir with a pump. Which is the pump alone is pretty expensive, and they were both the same price, which I scratched my head. I couldn't understand why, and I went with the one that came with the distro block. And when I got it, I was shocked to find out that it didn't come with the motherboard. Actually, after doing some research later, I realized that the other one for $250, not $245, actually included the motherboard as well as the monoblock. So right there, I kind of thought that this whole endeavor was doomed from the start. I eventually went on eBay and I found that the same motherboard was on sale for $146. This motherboard, sold, with the block for about $250, $500 actually, $250 if you bought it, the one I should have bought, and I actually made it work out. So I was able to get the board. It was missing the monoblock, but like I said, I already had bought that with the distro block. So I was able to get both the distro block and the motherboard and the monoblock, and I was able to get that for quite a bit cheaper than if I would have bought them separately, because that distro block with the pump would easily be like $150, probably $160 to $200, probably $250. They're pretty expensive, those pumps. So this motherboard supports both Intel 10th gen and 11th gen. I was gonna go with a Core i9 11th gen, but they were still pretty expensive. They're like, I think it was close to like $300. And then I realizing that it still supports 10th gen, I looked for some 10th gen chips, and the Core i9 10th gen was still pretty expensive, but I was able to find the i7 variant, so the 10700K, which is 3.8 gigahertz, 8 core CPU with hyperthreading, 16 threads, for $130. So I think this is a great placeholder. I don't get to unlock PCI Express 4 or 5 because that requires the 11th gen chip, but I still got a very good processor for gaming, and I have the option of upgrading it later, which I do a lot all the time, especially when I get the processor for cheaper, because sometimes they depreciate. For RAM, I went with a kit of G.Skill TridentZ 4400 32 gigabyte kit that I also have paired with a 4 terabyte PCI Express 4.0, but like I said, because I went with 10th gen, I'm only getting 3.0 speeds, but this is a 4 terabyte I got for about $160. For radiators, I have both a 120 millimeter radiator as well as a 140 millimeter radiator at the top. Now, funny story about that top radiator is that if you look, there's really no gap in between the radiator and the monoblock and the RAM, so you can't fit a 140 millimeter fan there. So what I ended up having to do is I was able to get a 140 millimeter to 120 millimeter 3D printed fan mounting plate that allowed me to put a 120 millimeter fan on the 140 millimeter radiator. But I couldn't fit a normal 120 millimeter fan on there because it was too thick, and it actually hit the RAM and the monoblock. So actually, it had an order from China, a slim 120 millimeter fan to attach to the 120 millimeter to 140 millimeter adapter plate, so I could attach it to my 140 millimeter radiator. Yeah, it was a pain in the ass, just as much as it sounds. For a graphics card, I went with the Intel graphics card. I'm more of an NVIDIA fan, but I have heard good things about these Intel graphics cards. I've heard they've been improving very well with driver support as Intel kind of polishes their drivers, and I didn't want to. I have a 4070 in my one of my gaming PCs. That's about $500, and I wasn't really looking to spend about $500. And a 3060 or even a 4060 will run you about $300. I was able to find this guy for about $210, and then actually after buying it, it went on sale, and it was during that holiday time where Best Buy was in their holiday return policy with also their price match guarantee. and it went on sale to $180. So I was able to get a price match. So I actually paid about $180 for this graphics card, which is actually able to handle gaming at 3400 by 1440p at a high refresh rate. The case I picked up from Best Buy. This is a Corsair Carbide Series Spectre Delta RGB tempered glass case. It's actually kind of a cheap case, but actually I like it. It actually looks pretty cool. It actually really goes well with these water cooled components and colors that I ended up going with. And the components are seen through the front, which actually looks pretty damn cool. This case only cost me about $65, $70, $71 with tax and shipping. And I think this worked out really well. Now, this case was a pain in the ass to work in. It is a really small case. I wouldn't recommend it for most builders, but I'm experienced enough that I was able to manage. Now, I also threw in an old graphics card. So on the bottom below that Intel graphics card, you can see an NVIDIA card. That's I believe an MSI GTX 1050. And I don't use that for gaming. I use that for transcoding. So I actually use the NVENC encoder via that graphics card, and I do the gaming on the Intel Arc card. One cool thing about the monoblock is that it actually has a flow rate meter. It's that little propeller thing, so it actually could show you how fast your pump's spinning or how fast your fluid is spinning based on the pump. Alright guys, so let's just finish this off. I'm going to do some gaming. So one of my favorite games ever is Resident Evil 4, and I had to pick up the remastered version of it, and it's pretty damn cool. It's pretty hard, but I've been enjoying this game. And besides Resident Evil, I also had to play some Rocket League, which I definitely approve of Rocket League on this system. It goes really well with that ultra-wide display. And last but not least, we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. Finally beat this game by myself on the hardest difficulty. This game was actually pretty dang tough. It actually was challenging. I really enjoyed it. Highly recommend. But thank you for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, please hit the like button, and if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And if the video wasn't to your liking, if you can, please provide some feedback. I'd be interested in hearing what you have to say, and definitely want to try and improve the quality of these videos.